Hello, this is Everyday Life with Kia. I'm your girl Kia. Today we have our first open discussion. The point of open discussions is to show people that we don't have our own, everyone has their own mindset. We all don't agree on the same thing, and that is okay. So the point of my open discussions is to educate you guys, to show that it's okay to disagree, to agree to disagree. But today our first open discussion is about caregiving. What us caregivers go through in this field. Caregiving is the most wonderful, blessed jobs to work. Very rewarding, but behind the field there's a lot that goes on that needs to change. We need to stop being comfortable of the same habits happening, especially if it's negative habits. Think about us caregivers and think about the residents. So in this video, if you're a caregiver yourself, caregiver CNA, and these things are happening, use your voice, speak up. Don't let no one silence your voice. Things need to change and improve. If we don't do nothing now, years from now, we will be another statistics. Let us not be another statistics. Let us grow as a nation together. So in this video, doesn't matter if you're a caregiver or not, I want you guys to learn from this video, take something from this video. And if you're working in this field and you're a caregiver yourself, I want to say thank you for all that you have done. Enjoy the video, and if you haven't already, make sure you add me on my Instagram account, Everyday Life with Kia, so you can help me my ideas for my videos, open discussions. So enjoy, you guys. Hey love, so this is our open discussion about caregiving, the truth, what we go through, and what everyone needs to know, whether you're a caregiver yourself or not as well. So basically we're telling the truth about what we go through, what everyone needs to know. So first we're going to introduce our names and say how long that we've been caregiving for.
Hey guys, I'm Olgina. I've been a caregiver for 3 years now.
My name is Kia. I have been a caregiver for 2.5 years.
And my name is Irma. I've been as a caregiver for 5 years.
I'm Veronica. I've been a caregiver for almost 2 years.
So we had one more person that was supposed to come, and she wasn't able to make it. Her name was Daisy. She's a caregiver as well. Do you know how long she's been a caregiver for or no?
I think 4 years, almost 4 years.
So she wrote this, and I'm going to share it with you guys before I start the discussion. A CNA/caregiver position is so downplayed, underpaid by the community and the world. Meanwhile, I'm holding a grandmother while she's crying on my shoulder because her family won't come visit her. I'm caring for your grandfather's personal needs because he is incapable of doing it himself anymore. I'm holding your mom's hand and comforting her because she's scared to die, but she knows her last breath could be any second now. We feed, we bathe, we toilet, we comfort, and we develop personal relationships with people we would have never known unless they needed us. It's so hard to be depended on by one person, let alone multiple people at once. It's a demanding and emotional job, but I do it. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of doing it, and I do it well. Caregiver at heart. So, Daisy, I just want to say thank you for writing that and sharing that with us. So, when I read that, basically, when I think of caregivers, or anyone here think of caregivers, what does that entail to you guys?
I would think, like being a caregiver, first thing that comes in my mind will be like an advocate, caring for them from morning till night, because of the shifts that we have, like the morning shifts, like they will wake the resident up and wash them, and if they're having a shower in the morning, we'll give them showers in the morning, make them ready, change them, make their beds. If we have any laundry that we did, during the night, we'll just put their laundry away. So make them bed, the bed for them. So it's, it's the whole shift, and then help them, send them to, cafeteria and make them ready.
Exactly. So the task that Irma said, we literally basically do everything. We're like, for me, when I think of caregiver, what it means, like what Irma said, the tasks that we do, and also what that entails, and we're an advocate. We're like the best friends, their mother, their daughter, their sister, like with their family members. We care for them. If they're down, if they need something, we try to make them feel better. So as caregivers, it's just, we do literally everything. We do it all for them, and we build a relationship with them, and we love them, and we care about them. So I think for me, that was what a caregiver is. So
yeah, can I say something? I was just thinking about this. We meet their physical needs, like their emotional needs, spiritual needs. Obviously, like Irma talked about the physical needs, but also the emotional ones, they could be crying or having concerns about something or dying or telling us about how lonely they feel, or maybe they aren't coping well with the illnesses and everything that comes with aging. So just being there for them and listening to them is extremely important, and it's part of our job, and I think all of us agree.
Yeah. Even like Ogina said, just listening to them, being there for them, telling them like, oh, you look beautiful today. And that little comment just makes their whole day. And it's just like the little things that make a huge impact in that.
Exactly. As caregivers, we do it all, honestly. We're the top of the mountain, the bottom of the mountain. We do everything for them to make sure they're in a good mood, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, like Ogina said. Literally, we do everything and all. We don't just do not one thing. And we're really, really important. So we're going to start off our topics, and we're going to have open discussion and just take it all in, guys. This is the truth and what everyone needs to know. So what do you think the most stressful thing about being a caregiver is? I know it could be a lot. It could be a lot. For me, the most stressful thing about being a caregiver would be when we're short-staffed. Because how can you work to your full potential, taking care of 20 residents or more on your floor, and you're short-staffed? And when I say short-staffed, it could be two of us just working, me and somebody else, one person working, and someone from other floors coming in to help us. Being short-staffed, you get burnt out. Mentally and physically, you get burnt out. And when you're short-staffed, we've been short-staffed for months, for years, every day. And how could we take care of them to our full potential? And we need help ourselves, but we're short-staffed. So the most stressful thing for me, I would say, being a caregiver is being short-staffed, because it's really hard for me to work at my full potential, watching what this resident is doing, and then I have to get ready to prepare for dinner, but it's only me and somebody else, and the other person is getting someone out of bed. So it's really hard working with when it's short-staffed.
Yeah, I will add something too. Like even when you're like short-staffed, like the residents or the families will get angry at us.
Yes.
Because of that, even though we're doing the best we can, with those two people, like you said. So it's not like we're doing the best, but to them it looks like we're not caring about them because we're not going on time when they need us, So then they talk about, with their families, and they think like we're not giving the best care to them, which that's not true.
Like, we're doing the best that we can, and even like our managers would say, our managers would know that we're short-staffed and they know that we need the help, but some of them, they won't help us. And the residents, the family members would think like, my mom needs this care, my mom needs this care, and we know that, but we're short-staffed. There's limited things that we could do when we're short-staffed. So I think that, for me, that was probably the most stressful thing what Orma said, that especially when the family members in your ear and the managers in your ear, you need to do this, you need to do this. But how are we going to do that and we don't have a full crew here?
Yeah. That's true. I'm gonna add to that. So on my floor, when there's only two of us or even three of us, it's hard because my floor is memory care, and you have a resident over here who doesn't listen to you. You tell them, please sit down, and they keep standing up. So that resident is at danger of falling anytime.
Yeah.
Well, over here you have another resident asking you where his wife is. His wife is not alive anymore. You can't just tell him that.
Yeah.
You have another resident wandering the halls, and it's just you and the other person. Like Kia said, the other person might be at a resident's room, not there helping you. So now you have to keep your eyes every direction, make sure everybody's safe, and it's hard when you're understaffed. It's never going to be a good thing. It's not going to work out.
I totally agree with that. I feel like there's no way that you can give your full 100% potential and care with not having that many people and not having the time to do so. It's not fair to the residents.
Exactly. So I just want to read another from a person from one of my YouTuber friends. She is a caregiver herself. She was a caregiver, and she wanted me to read this for you guys because she lives in a different state. She can't be here for this video, but she wanted to help me out. So her name is Lena Marie. Hey girl. But she said, can you please add, being a caregiver is a very tough job. You can't get emotionally attached. You get used to seeing that person all the time, and hurts when they get sick. I've taken care of a lady named Mary. She all of a sudden caught pneumonia and ended up in the hospital for heart failure. And I thank God she's doing great now. She was in the hospital for 2 months and in rehab for 3 months, and I would go visit her every weekend. It took a toll on me, so I stopped caregiving. So that's another topic that I want to talk about. A lot of places say you can't work here if you can't catch feelings, you know. And then when you have a resident so close to you and they die, and then the next day act like nothing happens, or they don't, you know, they don't come to us for support. It's like, are you okay? You need extra help. You need the days off. So, there's any incidents? How did you guys feel? How did you guys deal with that if you lost a resident? Like, did you guys have emotions, and how did your place where you work handle that situation?
Well, I have, it happened, I think about a year ago, when one of the residents, he was kind of like, not like, it was like, not one people assist, or like he was taking care of himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he was, independent. So one, like in a week, he felt like about 3 times. So like our management, like,
Mm-hmm.
put him like, like to care for him, as we call it rise and shine, meaning like to get him up in the
Mm-hmm.
morning. But they didn't put him as, we call it fluff and tuck,
Mm-hmm.
to take care of him at night before going to bed. So one night after like he had his meal, he went in his apartment. Then nobody saw him anymore
Mhm.
because he wasn't in assignment paper,
Mhm.
So when I go in the morning and doing rise and shine for him, he was dead, and he was like on his bed, and actually he was frozen.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought like he was like kind of fell because he
Mhm.
was on his knee, and I said like, "Oh, are you okay, Frank?" Of course, I touched him, and his hands were cold and frozen. So yeah, to me, like the management, one of like our bosses, the next day, because the police came and everything and did all the question. But in the morning, one of the manager, she was very nice about it. She said like, "I'm sorry for what happened, and are you okay?"
Mhm.
So she was very nice, and she wanted to know how I was doing because she knew that I had like a bonding with that resident like every
Mhm.
morning. Yeah, he was from Italy, and he will just say like, "Come on, like help me tie my shoe," and then he will kiss my
Mhm.
hand
Yeah.
every morning.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, when we have like Friday happy hour, like
Mhm.
can you come and dance with me?
Mhm.
Because yeah, he loved life, and
So
he was
you
from
guys
Italy.
had a really good and close relationship,
Yes,
and
yes, so
that did affect you.
me, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, so yeah, it will stay with me forever.
yeah, it's just like, how can you not have feelings? How could you not love and care about them? And it is really hard, honestly. And where I used to work, they always say it comes in threes. Like literally, one person
They say
died.
that at
They
our
said that to you too.
Mhm.
Literally, one person
Yep.
died, and then it comes in threes, and literally next day, the next week, and literally it was just so much deaths. Especially when you have so much deaths in a week or in a month, it is so much, and I feel like that can mentally, obviously get you in a depressive state, and it's just like you get a relationship with them. It's really hard, It's just, and then sometimes family members don't want them to know like the funeral, and I respect that, but you guys also have to think that I would love to go to the funeral, my last, goodbyes. I don't think that is fair that some family members don't want you at the funeral, because for the last years they had with us, we obviously grew a relationship with them, so I think it's important that we should be able, that's how I feel, I don't know about you guys, but I
Yeah.
think we should be able to go to a funeral for them if we wanted to, because we grew a relationship with them, and we got close to them, and I think they would want us there as well.
Yeah, I agree with that because, for instance, say that you have a strong relationship with the resident. He passed away and you were off that day, so you didn't get to see him for the last time. So they have a funeral, ceremony for them, and their family don't allow you to go. It's just upsetting because you didn't get to see them like the last time. You didn't get
Yeah.
to say goodbye. It's just hard, and I wish that families would allow us to attend. I understand that they're family, I
Yeah.
understand that, but it would just be cool, get to see them one last time.
Yeah, because honestly, like, you guys feel like there's the family. I don't want them I only want family to my mom's funeral. But the thing is, for me, for caregiving, they are our family. You know what I'm trying to say? That's how we see it. For us, that we have a heart, we love our caregivers. We are their family. We don't just say like we're the caregivers. I feel like we're definitely their family. We love them and care about them. So
I will say for them like that, like my second family.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
We don't see them as just they're the residents taking care of them. They are our family
I
as
see
well.
them every day. I don't see my family every day.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You share them
Yeah.
stories, you get to know
Yeah.
them, it's amazing. So I would like, family members out there, just try to understand it from our level. They're our families as well. We love and care about them. And we would like to at least say our last goodbyes or let us know where the graveyard is so we can visit them.
Yeah, at least- yeah, at least
That's what I'm saying. Because
bring
even if we
flowers.
can't make it to the funeral, I would like to visit the graveyard, at least talk to them, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say. What do you guys think the requirement should be to apply as a caregiver in CNA? So when someone applies for the job, what do you think they should look for or do better at?
Well, I think that they should, like look at most like important, like how this, caregiver is going to give care to this resident,
Mhm.
because they are like very fragile in the age, like about their 80s, 90s, and some hundreds. So I think they have to know like the most basics at least,
Mhm.
especially like how to transfer them from a place to a place,
Mhm.
how like, the most important like how to or if they need like a second person, like a second caregiver, they should be able to know, because they cannot get them up and by themselves, because
Mhm.
it's for both sides, for the resident that you're just it's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and for the caregivers that
For
it's
yourself,
it's it's not good, because you have to protect yourself and not
Mhm.
hurting your back, and use the body mechanics, like how we tell. So we have to like have some experience, like,
Mhm.
they should look at those,
Mhm.
because it's very important.
Yeah.
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 I think experience definitely helps, but also that doesn't necessarily reflect, because they could have had 2 years but not done completely good work. I don't know how to
Mhm.
Yeah.
say it like that. I think, I don't know, just having some sort of insight or being able to see how that person interacts with the residents,
Mhm.
how they communicate with their coworkers, the residents' family. You can tell, like, the caregivers that they have so much heart into the work that they're doing, and then you can tell which ones don't.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard when you're interviewing, because people obviously put on their best face,
Exactly.
know
Mhm.
the right things to say.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It can be hard. I don't know how do you know what's the right person? Like Olgina said, they put
Mhm.
their best face
That's
for the interview.
that's the thing.
How-
You never really know. You literally find out probably the first month
Mhm.
since they've been there,
Yeah.
But for me, like both of you guys were saying, with the experience and everything, but I didn't have experience when I got in this field. For me, I think if you have experience, that's good. That's amazing. But I feel like you really have to have a heart. You really have to have a heart. I really feel like that, because you could have someone who has 2 years of experience or more, but don't have a heart for it. You can tell by how she works. You could have someone who has, that has, like me, I didn't have experience and I have a heart for it. So when you do, and obviously they would train you, but sometimes you don't have good trainers, So I think for me it'll be more as, you got to really have to have a passion for other people. You have to really to be like, okay, she's in a down mood. What can I do to make it better? You know what I'm saying? You have to actually want it. And a lot of people would say, a few people that I come across, they would say, I'm just here to work. That's all. And anything else, after I leave home, I'm home. I just come here for work, for the money, and I leave. You know what I'm trying to say? And I understand to a certain extent, I do. But it's just like, your only thinking should not be, okay, I just want to get the job done. It's here for the money. You should want to go to the job and, okay, I'm going to make someone's day today. This person, she was feeling down last night. I'm going to make sure I'm going to lift her up and do something for her. So I feel like a lot of people now is looking so much into the experience, but just don't only look for the experience. Let them tell you stories, how they feel about taking care of older people, or what they think about this, or ask them questions about helping others and how they feel about that. I think we should focus on more questions like that instead of, okay, did you change a catheter? Do you have experience? Did you do this? Because yes, you could do that, but the thing is, do you care enough to do it? Do you have the heart to actually want to do it? So that's for me. So it's like, I would say 50-50, but I don't think that you have to have all the experience. You gotta have the knowledge, you have to want it, and you got to literally have the heart for it. Because if you don't have a heart for it, you really have to do it because you want to do it. That's just how I feel, There's a lot of people who have years of experience and they do not have the heart for it. They don't have the heart for it. They could just sit down and the person could be leaning on a chair, just not want to make that day better. If the person is just sitting at the table, okay, let me get a magazine. Let's read it together. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like maybe we should stop trying so hard. Okay, experience. Let me ask you questions about the experience, but also the experience. And plus, if you don't have experience, you could train them. Like I was trained.
Yeah.
They
didn't train them correctly.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta train
Take their
correctly.
time.
Yes.
Right. If you're a trainer and you see that they're not doing something correctly, don't just ignore it. Guide them. Show the correct procedures. Don't just half-ass. You do this, you do that, and she didn't do a good job, but you didn't even let her know that she didn't do a good job. You just keep moving forward.
Yes.
She's never gonna learn. She's never gonna be like perfect.
Let them like hands-on patients.
Yeah.
Yes, hands-on.
They know.
Yeah.
And I would add, that's when being short in staff happens, because they can't handle the job, so they leave right in a week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I was just thinking, literally I just thought this, instead of you should do the interview and actually you should tour the floors and say what they do and everything. So after the tour and everything, and they see it for their hands, they could then you go back to the interview and ask the questions again and be like, do you think you're interested in that? You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know what they're getting themselves into. Literally, it is a hard job. It's a hard job. It's rewarding. We do love it, but there's a lot of issues with this field that literally we don't talk about enough. So that's what we're doing here today.
If you're up for it or you're not up
Exactly.
for it.
I think, I'm sorry, in addition to that, I think it would be helpful to have peer interviews. I know some hospitals do peer interviews for patient care techs, and I think that would be so beneficial for caregivers in nursing facilities, because we're the ones who have a better understanding of what the job
What's going on.
Exactly.
entails,
Yeah.
and can kind of see if that person is fit for what we're doing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's important. I like that too. So you can have the manager in there and probably have two peers and stuff in there, and so the peers could ask questions. Okay, in this scenario, what would you do? So I think that's really helpful. So the caregivers know themselves. Okay, I catch the vibe. I got the energy.
Yeah.
I think they could be a good fit. And another thing about training is communication. Lack of communication. We got to do better communication. When I say communication is with the caregivers, the managers, the directors. If you lack communication, you can't really get the job done. You know what I'm saying?
That happens to me a lot. As working overnight, they don't give me any reports. Or let's say a new patient or resident came, so they put him or her in assignment, and I don't know what this residents can do or cannot do. So I'm just throwing.
Yeah, they just throw you on the floor.
And it's in my opinion, this residents does stop by him or herself because it's assisted living. So when we go, in a room, I see that the residents, it's can't even get up from the bed, to transfer her or him to a wheelchair. So you literally need two people for that, which you weren't even aware of.
Exactly.
He cannot get up at all. So that's when, they lack the communication.
And it's something they didn't tell you his assessment what he needed done. So if something were to happen to him, they will really put the fault on you, and you'll get written up for that.
Exactly, yeah.
That's another thing. It has to be, the communication goes a long way. So like another shift will happen, like, so the caregivers in the previous shift, if you don't report back what happened, and we will find out later on that the lack can make communication is really important. You got to have good communication skills, honestly. So one thing that talk about like the requirements for people to work, also the assessments that the managers, directors have to do for the residents to see if they can either be on the assisted living floor or the memory care floor. So, so basically for the assessments, they will go to the resident's home wherever they live and see if they need to be on assisted living floor, memory care floor, or cannot be in that facility at all. So for me, the problem I feel like is the assessments is like half-assed. Some of them just don't even do it at all, or they do it and it should not be in our building, but they put them in there anyways for the money.
Oh, yeah.
And literally, I feel like it's all about the money. People know that the residents should not be in this facility, but they need the money to keep them here. But you bring in somebody in the facility that's two-person assist or more, or needs a catheter change or a Hoyer lift, and we don't do that stuff here, and we're short-staffed as well, that is burnt out as us. So I feel like these places who have these assessments should really go out there and assess them fully. So if you put them on assisted living floor, and the two-person, three-person assist, you couldn't have assessed them because you would have known they're two-person and three-person assist before they got into the building.
That resident should be in a skilled facility.
Exactly. And the thing is, they know that, but they don't change it. They don't like, okay.
They hide it.
Exactly. Your father's two-person, three-person assist. We can't have him here because that's not our requirements here. But the thing is, they don't do that. They keep him there and put the hard work on us because of the money. And
That's a huge stressor.
exactly, right there. You have people who's literally, it's a strain on us physically, our backs, lifting them, especially when they don't even help us lift. And you gotta get 3 or 4 people because they're so heavy. This is amount of work on us physically.
And then you don't even have the 3 or 4 people. 'cause
Exactly.
you're
Then you gotta call
short-staffed.
the janitors and the housekeepers to help you pick them
The
up.
nurses, you have a nurse that's
And
pregnant,
you
she
don't
can't
have
even
the
help.
equipment for that because it's not the right facility.
Exactly. You don't have the
So you
equipment
have
for
to
it.
use your arms and
Exactly.
backs.
Yeah,
And
your backs. My back hurts
Yes.
after a long shift.
I was looking at some statistics about caregivers, and it said that nursing assistants are 3.5 times more likely to be injured on the job than the typical U.S. worker.
And that's true. And like
Yeah.
they teach us like certain body mechanics and stuff, how to use it and stuff. But the thing is, like, obviously that would work, but when you need more people to lift someone up and they're not helping us, that is still like really, it's really too much. And literally you hurt your back and your neck, you know what I'm saying? And the places, I feel like when you do assessments, the managers, directors, whoever you do them, think of it as, just try to understand it from our point of view, because you guys don't take care of these residents, you know, like physically don't take care of them, but we do. Just imagine how we feel having to take care of someone as two or three person assist, and you guys didn't do the assessment right, and they're still here, and knowing they shouldn't be here, and you don't do anything about it. That shows us that you don't care about our feelings. And then, you know, just try to understand it from our point of view, instead of like, okay, he shouldn't be here, but we really need the money. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't, and that really needs to stop.
And the residents, if, let's say, they are supposed to be in memory care and they are in assisted living, they're not getting the correct help that they need. They're not
Yes.
getting
Yeah.
the engagement and things that memory care offers. And people that are trained
or they're
better.
not safe because
Yes.
you know how the memory care will have like the environment is safe.
Yeah, it's
You know,
different.
so they won't
Exactly.
escape or they won't get
Yeah.
hurt.
So it affects everybody.
Uh-huh. And so if you say it's a person on assisted living floor that should be on memory care, and then we have a family member who doesn't want them to be on memory care, just because you want to keep them for the money, you want to make the family member happy, you're going to keep the resident on assisted living floor. I feel like you should think about the residents and the caregivers. We're not taking care of the family. We're taking care of the resident. So if the resident needs to be on the memory care floor, where we can take care of them as we're supposed to, then I feel like if the family members are not okay with that, then they shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
You should not accommodate the family members' needs. This is
Yeah, they're not
you
the
know-
ones. They're not gonna live there.
Exactly.
You know,
We
they're
have
not
to
the
deal
ones
with
who
it.
need the care.
We have
you
to
know?
deal with it.
Yeah. So I have a quick little story. So where I work, there's 4 floors. I work the 3rd floor. That's memory care. We call it reminiscence. Upstairs is the 4th floor. It's more like independent. So I used to work when I first started. I used to work all floors. So one day I was working in the 4th floor, and I noticed that one of the residents up there shouldn't even be in that floor. She should be on my floor, memory care. She needs to be there. You know, she doesn't get the correct care at the 4th floor. So I asked another caregiver there, like, why isn't she on my floor? And she said it was because the family didn't want her on my floor. Just because when they were looking at the different floors, they noticed on my floor, the residents there, they were struggling more, you know, with their memory. Obviously, it's memory care, of
Exactly.
course. So they didn't want mom in the same environment as, you know, the rest of the residents. They didn't want mom, you know, seeing how bad the residents are, and they said that if they would put mom on the 3rd floor, she would get even worse seeing how, you know, the other residents are, which is so silly to me. Like, how are you going to, you know, your mom needs the help on my floor. She needs, like, she mentioned,
To be safe.
she needs to be saved. It's a better environment. It's more, you know, it's better for her.
Exactly.
It's targeted towards her.
Because different floors,
disease.
assisted living or memory care, we do different things, okay? Like memory care is more hands-on, we're with
Yeah.
them more like one person, you know. Assisted living, they're independent. They can do things on their own, but say if they need help getting something or their laundry or something, that's what it is for. So I feel like if your mom needs to be on the, you know, if her mom needs to be on memory care floor and she wasn't happy about that, I don't feel like they should, like, you know, the management says we can't have her here anymore, you know? I understand, like, of course, it's like, it's not all about the money, and that's what's really hurtful. I feel like nowadays, things obviously are not changing within this field because it's about the money. It's about the money. And it should not be about the money. It should really be about, okay, how can we take care of these residents the best as we could? If they need to be on memory care floor, they should be on that floor because we can take care of them more, you know, get them what they need. If they need to be on the assisted living floor, they should be on the assisted living floor, and to follow the protocols. I think that's really, really important. Another thing about, you said that the mom said that she want her mom at the, her daughter said she want her mom with the environment, memory care
the
floor.
environment, yeah.
But the thing is, I don't like how some people would treat
Stare
the memory care, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like, memory, like, I always say people are afraid what they don't understand, you know what I'm saying? Memory care, when people's on memory care, it's people who have Alzheimer's and dementias, the memory problems, you know what I'm saying? Some people are on the first stage of the memory, and some of them is worse, you know what I'm trying to say? It's the humans just like us. I know some people's like, I don't want to go upstairs, I'm scared, they might attack me and stuff like that. I feel like we should change people's perspective on the people with Alzheimer's dementia, because they are amazing humans.
Yeah.
They're wonderful, amazing stories. Yes, it could be frustrating sometimes. You're gonna have to repeat the same questions every single second. You're gonna, is my shirt white? Is my shirt white? Yes, you know, yes, it is white. I love your shirt. And it's the same, you're gonna say this, they answer the same questions every second. It could be frustrating sometimes. It could be frustrating, but it literally is worth it. And once you work in memory care floor, you know, family members, you know, don't visit them so much. A lot of people, some people are afraid up there. I feel like the janitors, everyone, they should know more about.
They should be trained more.
That's what I'm trying to say. Train more about that floor, because people should visit. Some people should not. You should not be afraid of people with Alzheimer's dementias. Because let me tell you, I forgot the statistics, but 1 in 6 or 1 in 12 people have a chance of getting that. You know what I'm trying to say? More people will need more care. Literally, one of us right here could have it. I always say I'm gonna have dementia. I honestly do. My memory is so bad. Honestly,
I know we always say.
I always say that.
I would say the same thing about me.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Literally, and years from now, more people, they said it'll be like kind of like even with caregivers and people who need the care. That's what they were saying about that. So I think people should really be educated more aware of that. You know what I'm trying to say? Because it is sad. And about the memory care floor, I feel like memory care people get paid. They pay more than assisted living residents because they need more care. But for me, where I recently worked 4 different places, I feel like memory care people get treated like shit sometimes.
People don't have the patience.
That's what they don't have the patience,
Yeah.
you know. And if we need something like with the food or anything, and I feel like memory care people get treated like shit.
Yeah.
And I really think that needs to change as well.
I'm gonna add to that. I feel like residents who are in memory care, they don't get the same involvement, the same
Yes.
treatment. For example, say that there's a person who's gonna come and sing for the residents. They call assisted living and they let them know there's someone who's gonna come sing. Come bring your residents. She's in room whatever, whatever. They call upstairs and they forget about us. They don't let us know. Just because my residents aren't okay up here doesn't mean that they're not gonna enjoy it as well as the assisted living residents. They're
That's sad.
individuals. They can enjoy the same thing, but they don't even count them in, which is not fair.
Yeah, that
Like,
is so
I have to go and
Oh my gosh.
figure it
I
out.
tell you a story
you know
about
what?
that.
There's a singer. I bring them downstairs.
Yeah.
You know, they don't call us like as often sometimes, but not. You know, it's
Yes.
just so sad.
Literally
It is.
carrying on from that story, I forgot, this was like a year and a half ago or something, but someone was coming to sing. And they told us after dinner and stuff. So we had the residents ready in the living room, or no, in the dining room and living room to sing and everything. Next thing you know, I see people like leaving out. And I called my manager, director, whatever, and I let her know, like, I told her how I feel. Like, we were ready and everything. No one called us to say that they were here, to tell them to bring us down, nothing. I wasn't yelling at her, but I literally started crying. And I was like, no one cares about them up here. Like, they don't have enough activities, people coming up here and stuff. And I was just really, really sad. And she's like, I understand, Kia, I understand. But the thing is, do you really understand? Because you really understand, you would have called a place
Yeah,
and made
actions
sure
don't show.
that, exactly, you would have made sure they came. And I literally was going to say something else about memory care. But also, there's other residents on the assisted living floor would literally talk about other residents from memory care floor. So obviously they got that from somewhere. I feel like when people think of memory care floor, it's always negative. It's
Yeah.
nothing positive about it. It's always negative. And the thing is, there's so many positive about it. They're literally humans just like us. Something wrong up here with their memory. That's all that it is.
And I would add to that too, like, they pay the same amount that the other residents in
Mhm.
other floors pay. So
Pay
it's
more.
not fair.
Yeah.
They do. They pay
Or more.
One more, yes. And they don't
It's not
get,
fair for them.
you know, it's not even.
It's
you
not
know?
fair treatment. It's
Exactly. They should, and then, you know, go outside, you know, more activities, go, you know, more places to go, you know. So I think we should shift about Alzheimer's dementia is more positive, you know. It's not a bad thing. You know, we get old and we forget, and that is okay. They already feel lonely. They already feel like they don't want to live, you know, scared, like, you know,
yeah.
people judge them and stuff.
Yeah.
And to them, just imagine how they feel in their state. They don't know what's going on up here. I see a lot of people's like, I don't know what's going on with my mind. I can't remember.
Yeah.
You know, we know what's going on, and it hurts. So understand it from their point of view, honestly.
I'm sure, I'm sorry to interrupt you, I'm sure we've all heard people say, like, treat them like they're your mom or
Yes,
your grandma.
yes.
I think that totally, like, helps to be reminded, like, and to help you be more patient with them, and just thinking about how you met them at this stage in their life, but they were firefighters, like
Exactly.
nurses,
Yeah.
they were, yeah,
That is so true.
they were
Definitely.
people before, they still are people. but,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. That is true. What do you think should change or needs improvement with working in this field? I would say mine first because I think a lot of things could change, but I really think it's really, really important for I don't know what, it's not management directors, but the people who's in the head of the company and stuff. I really think that they need to every month at least literally go there and interview each caregiver, tell them how they feel, ask them questions, what needs to improve, what needs to be better, what are we lacking of. That shows us that you care, okay? Because I don't know if it's like a review every year or every 6 months, I don't know what they call it, but the state comes and the bosses and stuff of the company will come and take a tour, will come and tour the where we work, and they let us know when they're gonna come. So when that happens, literally all my managers and directors literally act like brand new. Like I'm just like, really, like, make sure your gate belt is on, on you. Make sure this, make sure you hold a walkie-talkie, all this. They act brand new, but they never like this every day. I feel like the big bosses, big directors and managers, that you guys should just pop up and do random visits every month. Don't tell them the date, do random visits, because literally, we are short staffed literally all the time. And then when you call there and let them know the date you're going to come, they're going to make sure that we are staffed fully for that day, because you're going to be there. So I think that they need to do random visits, like 3 times a month. Yes, 3 times a month. And if it improves, then you can do 1 time a month. Do random visits. Act like, just disguise yourself and do random visits. Honestly, you have to do random visits. I think that should change, and also the management, how they treat you, and some of them don't have a heart for this and don't care about the residents. And how do you want a place to be better if we're short staffed all the time and you don't care enough about how we feel or about the residents?
Yeah,
So
I will add, sorry,
Mhm.
I will add something that, when they have to have like at least once a month, like gathering all the residents
Mhm.
and having like a meeting, and they can tell, their complainings or what they
Mhm.
like, and, what they want to add more to this or that, so it makes their everyday life more easier for them.
Mhm.
So they can write it, and then, so they can, the management can, see, what's their, concerns are, so the outcome will be better, so they will be more happier and taken
Mhm.
care of better. So
Exactly.
they will, take it in consideration, because that's what it's all about.
Mhm.
The
So I
residents'
think
voice.
they don't,
That would be good.
yeah, they don't
And-
take care of that,
Mhm.
to know, like, what this resident is saying, what, about the food, or about the care, or whatever it is that needs to be, like, taken care of.
Yes, include residents as well. Do meetings every week. If the residents could mail the managers what they need to work on or whatever. The caregivers too, in confidentiality, say what we need to work on. Then at the end of the month, have a big meeting, okay, and then solve it, So I think have more meetings, and directors, you guys should, the head bosses should do pop-up visits. Honestly, do pop-up visits, because we are basically short-staffed every damn day. And when you guys call for your review, that's when we want to make sure that we're fucking fully staffed. And let me tell you, we never are. It's really really hard, and that's why we get burnt out, because we're short staffed. And literally, it's like we're fully staffed once a review comes, or a boss is coming, or someone, I'm trying to say,
Yeah.
when a tour is coming, they act, us.
They need to see the truth, not the fake.
Exactly.
They need to see the reality.
If you really, really care and want to know how the place is going, I think it really starts with the caregivers. Go to them and talk to them how they feel, and let them know we want to make a change, we care about how you feel. So I think that is really, really important. I think that's a start, so the big bosses could see it for their own eyes, instead of like the manager's like, we're good, And plus, look at your records. The ratio, if you notice so many people leaving than going, that should be a red flag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That should be a red flag.
Yeah.
Um,
I think another way, I totally agree with that.
Mhm.
I also think that this sounds cheesy, but just like putting the heart back into caregiving, and
I love that.
Like, even from the directors and the managers and down all the way up until like caregiving, just remembering why you're doing this, and just not doing it for the money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That
I
too.
don't know if I've worded it
I love
correctly,
that. No,
but-
I love that. That
Yeah,
is really good.
Just like putting your like heart and soul into
Uh-huh.
that, and being like very authentic and genuine, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you say like being an advocate, you really mean it, being an advocate.
Yes.
Um,
I like that, because I literally forgot what I was about to say, but I like that because say you go into the field, you have the heart and everything, but the thing is, you obviously you're burnt out. And then when you're burnt out, mentally and physically, or just physically, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you lose who like you were. You have that love for it because you're so burnt out. So maybe you could obviously get that meeting, and you could get that love again. You can get that love again and how you feel. So honestly, it starts with you. So just like a lot of self-reflection. I love that. I actually do love that. Definitely get that love again. Because just because you burnt out does not mean you have to be burnt out for the rest of your life.
yeah, making sure us caregivers are taking care of ourselves, like
Exactly.
physically
Ex- Yes.
mentally, taking breaks from work when you need them if you can't afford doing that.
Yes.
You need to be stable in order to help someone.
Yes.
You can't just be a mess and then try to go out there and help a resident. No, because you need help yourself.
Exactly.
You know. Just,
Well, yeah, and the management, like, we, like, not that we need it, but it's somehow, like, it's like a rewarding, like, we need to be appreciated
Yes.
Yeah.
by them.
Oh my gosh.
appreciation.
Yes. That's a big
Do I
thing.
feel appreciated? No,
No.
I don't. No.
That is a big thing. Appreciation. Like, just tell us you did a good job. You did that. I feel like we feel only time we do feel appreciated if, say, if we cover a shift that they needed. If we did them a favor.
Yeah.
That's the only if we did them a favor, that's when they acknowledge us. You know what I'm saying? When they need something. It's really important. A lot of people want to feel that they loved and that their hard work, and people see that. We would like to see that. Great work here. You did an amazing job. I think, we would love to see that, feel that you care about us. That is a lot.
But when it comes to us that we need something, that needs to be solved, resolved, how to say, they like will ignore us.
That too. When we come to your problem and you ignore us, that shows us that you don't care about how we feel. You know what I'm saying? So that's I love that. That's really important. Appreciation. Honestly, you just put yourself in our place, and it just goes a long way to show that you care about us. It really does, because sometimes we could feel like we're alone, that we're not like getting that. I appreciate what you do. It's a simple thing,
A simple good job.
Yeah.
Exactly, just acknowledge us, because we do a lot of work. We really do.
I feel like it's harder for you guys because your residents aren't really able to voice their appreciation because maybe they don't really notice it or can't like.
Oh, they tell me all the time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
My
Okay.
residents appreciate every single little thing, even like filling their glass of water again. They always say please. They always say thank you. Always. It's just like the managers.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
boss
the
never
managers-
says anything,
yeah.
But
Yeah, I only feel like we only get appreciated with the managers only if we do them a favor. So like if we need them to cover a shift, Kia, can you cover my shift? I said, yes. Kia, you're so amazing. Thank you for doing this. I want to hear that when I don't do a favor
Right.
for you, And I want to talk about nursing homes, how people perceive nursing homes. Because when people bring up nursing homes, it's always negative. And like people's like, I do not want to go to a nursing home. I do not want to go to a nursing home. I just want to say, like, how do you guys feel about nursing homes? I feel like I just went to nursing home like 2 weeks ago for my home care job, and I think I know why people have a negative impact on nursing homes.
Yeah, I will add something to that because every time I work in assisted living and in a hospital, but when I hear, like when I tell them, that I work, in the, this facility, they automatically think like it's a nursing home and then just do the face, So,
Right.
and tell them like, why is that? Because they said like, that place is like horrible, like not being taken care of, the residents, or the food is horrible. It's like you're signing your own death, probably, like to them.
Yes, whenever anyone brings up nursing homes, it's like, I'm never going to nursing home. I don't want to die. Like, it's bad there. And I think I went to nursing home like 2 weeks ago for my home care job. I had to be with a resident for like 8 hours and just to play with him, color with him and everything. And literally, I seen there, they were short-staffed. That's why they hired us, the company, to be with him one-on-one, because they didn't have anyone to be one-on-one with him. Literally, there was one girl getting people up by herself for the one half, and she's the whole floor. She said, she was like, yeah, we're short-staffed and everything, you don't pay us well, but she's been there for so many years, she would not leave.
yeah, she loves her
You know?
residents. Yeah.
So, so I feel like with nursing homes,
Short staff.
it's short staff, it's really, really short staff. And then you have to understand, when the caregivers, we're short staff, every day we're burnt out,
The care is like 100%.
Exactly. We're burnt out. So, and then when you have new people coming in, they don't stay because they see that we're short staffed and there's too much too much work on one person, 2 people or whatever it is. So I feel like our nursing homes, that will definitely, so how our facilities are, memory care and assisted living, where we work now, I feel like it could become how nursing homes are if we don't change something. Because nursing homes are short staffed, Obviously, they're burnt out, so some of them don't work as like they used to when they first started because they're so burnt out, working day in and day out. So I feel like to change that, we have to obviously hire people, has to be full staff. And that's literally what it is. We're always short staffed. I feel like there's no place I went to that was full staff. We had a problem with that.
One caregiver or CNA cannot take care of 15 residents,
Exactly.
like right in
It's
the
too
morning,
much.
because they won't get the full care. Like, not that we don't want to, but like it's time, you know, like the time goes fast and you like have to make them ready and make them ready for breakfast. So there's no time to really take good care of them. That's when they some of them, you know, have like, you know, they stay forever in their seats and they have like, you know, like the skin breakdown and all of those.
And whenever I would think about leaving, it's every time my old job, my last job, I would always talk about leaving, but I never do, you know. But they always say, it's the same, it's going to be the same anywhere you go. I'm just like, that is sad that people go do that. No, they say that because where I worked, there's many people, many of my coworkers who've been to many facilities, and they said it's just like this one. It's the same, but it's the same anywhere we go. That should literally be a statement like something needs to change. It should not be like
Like
that.
there's no hope.
Literally, every place should not be short-staffed. It should not be about the money. So it's really sad if you hear that it's going to be the same anywhere you go. It's just like, damn, like,
It's sad.
you know, like when are we going to do something about it? You know, we're making all these new buildings and facilities, but you're making all these new ones. It's gonna still be the same, short staff and people's like that. I feel like it has to start with obviously the company, because you have to obviously make that change. Okay, pay attention to your ratio. Why are people leaving? Why are people leaving and quitting? It's up to you to go to the place and find out, not calling the manager because they will lie. You need to go there and you need to see it for yourself and want to change and to make it better.
Yeah, I have a couple things to say. I think that another thing that adds to like the negative stigma around nursing homes is like media, and like the only stuff that gets put on the news is like a
Their
elderly
activities.
person gets abused,
Yes,
or
that's true.
they
Movies
find
and
an
stuff.
elderly person that wandered out of the facility and stuff like that. They never really put like, oh, like, you know, just like the
Nope.
little things that
Yes.
happen, or like
Yeah.
Yeah, and their activities.
little
and
celebrations or
whatever
things
they
like
do.
that. And then the other thing that I was going to say was that when I was also doing like the research, the like amount of like the geriatric population is supposed to double by 2050 because of like the baby boomer generation, and so something really does need to change, because
Yes.
if that is already
It's
happening
happening
like
now.
that,
Nothing's
it's
gonna
gonna-
done. Imagine years. You know what I'm saying?
when
Like,
more people like our parents are going to need care, and
Okay.
if we aren't able to do that for ourselves, like we're not going to want to put them into places like this.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know? So I realized that, and I feel like the reason people do leave has to do with they not knowing how much work they have to do, how the managers, you know, disrespect them, and the short staff as well. That's why I think, you know, why do you think people like will not like leave, like some coworkers? What do you think reasons are? Or is there any reasons that I said, or no, not really? Yeah, that's what I feel like. Okay, abuse.
Yeah, I feel like they don't know what not what they're getting into, but they're like,
They know
oh
the
my
job
gosh, we have to
description.
like
They have
That's
to
what I'm
know.
trying.
Scoop,
That's what I'm
like-
saying. They really don't
like-
know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
I feel like in the interviews, when I was interviewed, obviously, the stuff that I realized when I was working, they didn't really tell me on the interview. You know what I'm saying? And then when they bounce you to floor, so if you're training, say you're training on assisted living, and the next week because they're short staff, you got to be on memory care, and no one trained you, and no one could train you because they're short staff. That's another thing. Like I hate because when I first started out assisted living, and then I went to overnight memory care, and I went to when someone came hired for overnight, I went to memory care floor. No one trained me on memory care floor. No one trained me because there was no one to train me. You know, so that training is really, really important, and you have to be full staff to train somebody. So some people will train only 2 people, one trainer, the trainer with one person, another person. So what does that mean to the trainer? Meaning that, like, damn, is it gonna be like this all the time? And little do you know, it is, you know. And so no one wants to work like that. That's a lot of work on one person, like a lot of work. So I read this online that said, because being a caregiver is so hard, some doctors think of caregivers as hidden patients. Studies show that caregivers are much more likely than non-caregivers to suffer from health problems. These could include stress, overload, depression, anxiety, and other issues. So I want to tie that in with obviously being burnt out. I feel like it really takes a toll on you. I left my job because mentally and physically it was really too much for me. I was really drained out. I was burnt out. We were short-staffed every single day. It is hard when you're short-staffed, getting ready for dinner, and then someone's calling in a walkie. We need help getting her up. But how are you gonna go help her up in a room, and right in front of you have a fall risk, people in wheelchairs, and you can't leave because they can fall, but you have no one else to come and watch them because your other person is in a room getting someone up for dinner. It got exhausting, and I love my residents. I call residents my babies. I love them so much, and I would sing to them all the time, and then when I do see them, they say, Kia, we don't sing anymore like we used to, I love them, but I had to leave that job because I was really exhausted. I was drained out, and I couldn't do it anymore. I had to leave for myself. But the reason I stayed there so long, it was because of my residents. I was thinking, who can take care of them as much as me? You know what I'm trying to say? I had to leave for me because it was not good for me, and I know that God, would watch over them, But it is draining and it's a lot of work, and I do miss them to this day. But this caregiving field is really demanding, physically on you. When you're short-staffed, it is really hard, and then when you're drained out, you could tell. You don't walk the same. You're slow. You can't give enough residents the attention that you need because you're not okay yourself. So I feel like it's really important for these places to really make a change and just honestly think about how we feel, And I love caregiving, but literally from job to job, it's been the same thing. So I'll be leaving this field, and I'm gonna get a job because it's too much on me, and then overworking myself for all these years. I can't even work how hard I used to because my back and everything. So I just want you guys to understand it from our perspective. It is a hard job, but I love it. I do. Rewarding. We spend more time with them, with their families and everything. So I just want to say, is there anything that you guys want to say before ending this video? What do you want them to know? What do you want them to take from this video?
Well, like you said, it has to go to the big bosses. They have to be aware of what's going on in the facility, not once a year, but at least once a month or one every other month. They have to go there and not to tell them they were coming, because like you said, they were put to different environment, it's the best place to live. Mm-hmm. They have to come and then just pop up, and then that's how we'll know what the issues are. Mm-hmm. So that's what I think.
I just want to say, if you're someone out there and watch this video, I don't want you to be scared of applying for that field. It's very rewarding. I call them my best friends, to be honest. I love them all. They all make my day. They make me so happy. Each and every single one. Every single one. I just love all of them.
Mm-hmm. I've worked at probably 5 different places,
right?
And this was the first job that didn't feel like a job that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Obviously when we're short-staffed and everything's going wrong, it does. But I don't know. I just look forward to seeing them, and they look forward to
go to work.
To seeing us too. The last
it needs a heart. If you have the heart for it, then do it. If you don't, then don't even.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't even apply.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes.
It's not for everyone.
You need to be caring. You really do.
I would say this field, I love this field, but things do have to change. It is rewarding. I love it. They're like I call them my babies. Honestly, they're my best friends. I love them to my death. You have to have a heart for this place. It's a lot of experience. Like when you work in this field, you will realize so much. Like the residents will talk to you about the history. You learn so much about them. You know, literally do this job because you have a heart and you want to make their lives better. If they're in a bad mood, do activity with them. You know what I'm trying to say? You're a good teamwork player. You don't let no one stay by themselves, doing a lot of load by themselves. Help them out. So if you're that type of person, this job, obviously caregiving is for you. But if you work at a place that needs things to be improved, I would tell you to go to the bosses, the big bosses. You need to speak up. Don't be too comfortable about how people around you would treat the residents and everything. This job is an amazing job, and it could be a lot. But the thing is, it could change. But it starts with the company, your managers and directors, and teamwork and communication. Okay? So from this video, I hope you guys learned a lot of things. Thank you, Ogina, Irma, and Veronica for helping me with this. This is amazing. And just honestly, just take things from it. Caregiving is not a bad job. It's rewarding, it's amazing, but people have to have a heart for this job and really being willing to just be a better person in someone else's life, making the mood better. And just know, just when people say all places are the same, there are managers out there who care and love their residents and their workers. I don't want you guys to think every place is like that, because it isn't. It's not. A lot of people out there is not only there for the money. You know what I'm trying to say? So enjoy this video. If you guys let me, I'll put your information in the description box if anybody wants to contact you more about caregiving. So thank you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you.